Today we look at how not to prepare to photograph a sunset. So sometimes a landscape photography session doesn't go quite as expected. I often find to be the most successful, you need to have a certain element of planning into it and a certain amount of time. Planning consists of researching the area before you get there, and time, just making sure you have plenty of time to get there, plan your compositions out while you're there, look around, and not feel pressured or rushed. Well, in this upcoming behind the scenes video, you're going to get a chance to take a look at me out at Saguaro National Park East in Tucson, Arizona, where I headed out to go photograph the sunset sort of last minute, sort of unexpected. I was about, probably a half hour away from the park, decided I had enough time to get over there, get a sunset picture in because I had a gap in time. So I grabbed my camera bag and headed out. But then when I got there, one, I was short on time, I was cutting it close, and my route to where I was going to go into the park, there was a lot of traffic that day and it was moving sort of slow. So I just sort of watched the minutes tick as I sort of followed this traffic through the park, which cut into my time to sort of plan my shot. So I get to my spot. Luckily, I know it's almost never crowded there. There's almost never anyone there. It's sort of a secret spot, even though it's right off the main driving trail through the East Park. I get up to my spot, but the sun's setting fast, as you'll see in the video, and so I really don't have the time to plan the compositions like I would like, and I really had to sort of just run with what I had. So while I had a great time out there, lack of time and not a lot of planning ahead of time sort of made this a rushed experience. So let's take a look at some of the behind the scenes, sort of follow along as I sort of work through these shots rather quickly, and then stick around to the end, and I'll sort of talk about maybe some things I could have done a little different to help make this trip, this particular landscape session, a little more relaxed than it was. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so decided to sneak out tonight real quick to Saguaro East National Park to catch a little bit of sunset action. Not a ton of clouds. There might be something that pops up over here. Actually, at the moment, I'm just trying to take advantage of the good light off this direction. The sun is setting over here. I've shot this shot many times. I, as usual, was running just a touch behind, so I sort of came to an old favorite spot for this one. It's usually not very crowded at this particular spot, so I'm going to do a little bit of work over this way, and if these colors pop over here, I'll get some of that. Just sort of waiting for the sun to sink just a little lower. So let's see what we get. As usual, the sun moves pretty quick this time of day. In fact, it's starting to drop over there already. So I'm trying to get this without needing to bracket it. So exposing to the right, so I don't blow my highlights. 5-second timer. Watch this thing pop. Boom. Just a teeny blown out sky. I'm going to just slow my shutter speed just a teeny bit more because I'm pretty sure I can pull that back in Photoshop. Nice. I sort of like that. So let me show you real quick what we got. Set up over here. I'm putting that cactus. Over there and is the focal point of my shot with the mountains in the background. Get a little bit of colors popping across there, across that range back there. That's the Catalinas. And just so I have this real quick, I'm gonna move really fast. Sun's setting over here. I'm gonna let it drop behind those mountains and then hope those clouds pop, and then we'll rush over here and get that. So probably won't be doing a whole lot of talking. I'll let this camera run though, and we'll just see me run around like crazy as this sun sets. So this is why you should show up just a little early to your shoots. A little more time to plan your shots. Like I said, that's sort of why I ended up coming to an old favorite spot, because I sort of knew what I was looking for. Yeah, this is going to be a dual exposure because that sun is right over there over that mountain. Actually, let me see if I can get this guy into the... So we're just going to call this a 2-shot bracket, in which case I'm going to expose the right for my foreground. That's the first shot. Then we are going to expose for the sky. Bring that way over. There's just too much dynamic range in that. Now we're going to expose for the sky, keeping the same focus point. What we're sort of hoping for here is the colors will pop. Now expose for the sky. Yeah, that'll take some blending. I'll change this shot around a little bit. Colors aren't popping anything spectacular, so we're just going to... I've got a Saguaro sitting here with Javelina rocks off in the distance. There's people on those rocks, but this might work a little better. And this is going to have to be a dual exposure again. Just a little lower. So bring this down just a little lower. There we go. Okay, so again, I've got there's just too much dynamic range at the moment, so we're gonna one for my foreground and one for my sky. And we're still blowing that sky out a bit, so I'm gonna click one more, bring that in just a little more. It's not bad. Let's see what this way. Things move pretty fast at sunset. There's some cool colors. We'll pop you over here, take a look in a second. So I'm doing one for the sky, get my foreground in here. So let's just turn you over here real quick. That's the sky we're getting this evening. It's not bad. I don't know if you can see all the silhouettes over here, people on Javelina Rocks, all walking up and down that. Okay, we are, zoom this in just a touch more, pan over just a little bit, and just focus point back. Again, 2 exposures, one for my foreground. Gonna do that one again. I touched the camera too early. Good. Speed up my shutter, get the sky. So I'm going to take just a minute here, see what else pops up. That sky is starting to be pretty cool. I'm not sure I can get another composition in, so I may just have to hope that the sky pulls it off. Just go one higher. What I'm trying to do is I got this bush sitting up here, just off the, to my left, and I don't want it necessarily in frame. There, that fixed that. Okay, exposed to the foreground. Make sure I get a little bit of light in there. Okay, I got a car, of course, in my frame at the moment. So I have to let this car, like I said, there's this road, it sort of drifts. It's a scenic drive, it's a one-way loop through the park. It's amazing to drive, you know, awesome to do. But when you're taking these pictures, if no one's on the road, you can barely tell it's there, so it's cool. But when the cars are coming through, it gets picked up pretty easy. There's my foreground, bring that sky in. I think I have just enough time to squeeze this foreground in. Oh, car snuck in there. Yeah, so car snuck in there. 6-second exposure. The motion blur may be enough to keep it out of there. Let's see. I'm gonna let this one get by. Do this composition one more time with this sky, and I'm gonna compose this hill over here in differently. Not too bad for a last minute decision to come out and photograph sunsets. Sometimes you just got to go and do the thing, and you know, maybe you're not as all put together as you want, and that's okay. Now we are going to change the composition over this way. See what this looks like in the foreground part. I got cars moving, a lot of cars. But my foreground sort of works. So I can get over this way just a little more. So that you see this too. Got a car in my foreground here. I'm gonna get one more shot in here, and then I'm probably gonna pack up. This road closes at sunset. I still got a little bit of a ways to drive to get out of here. Time to get my gear packed back down in the car. It's just a super short hike, but and exposed for the sky. Okay, I think we'll call that it for the moment. So yeah, for an impromptu trip to get the sunset, not too bad. Like I said, really, you'd want to get here a little earlier than I got here just to plan your shots. I had to move pretty quickly, which did force me to come to an old favorite spot of mine because I'm sort of familiar. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. I knew sort of what I would be seeing. So that helped. So, always, plan ahead. Again, I'm at Saguaro East National Monument. Great park to visit. So much to photograph. So yeah, until next time. So I hope you enjoyed that behind the scenes look at me frantically trying to capture the sun as it set at Saguaro National Park East. I had a good time. I still got some images I'm happy with, but there are certainly a couple things I could have done differently to make that a more successful trip. And if you're doing destination landscape photography, these are probably a couple things to keep in mind. The first one is time. If I had just allowed myself more time, little things like the traffic getting into the park would not have been a stressful situation. I could have just been fine, rolled with it, and stayed relaxed. Instead, since I was short on time, as we went into the park, I was checking my watch. The sun's getting close to setting. I don't have a whole lot of time to set up. Traffic's moving too slow. So that's just not a good way to start a session with, you getting some of the stress levels up. More time would have prevented that. If I'd have left an hour and a half earlier, if I'd have gotten there and traffic been busy, it would have been no big deal. Just enjoy the trip through the park, have plenty of time to get to the spot I want to go to and get set up. So time is the big one. Also related to time is, as in a previous video, Finding Your Shot, I talked about one of the things to do when you get to a new location or any location is don't immediately break out your camera equipment, but instead get there, absorb, look around. Before you even get the camera out, walk around, look at compositions, look at how the light's hitting. How do you think the light is going to hit? When you get there sort of last minute, like I did, as you saw, I sort of had to start setting up my gear right away. Get there, walk to my spot, set up my tripods, and start moving. So I didn't get that time to really find the shot, which I've stressed in earlier videos is important. So time would have helped solve that as well. I feel like even though I'm happy with the photos I got, I sort of settled for the compositions I got. I didn't really get a chance to work the shot. More time would have allowed me to work the shot and sort of get the images that were a little more unique, a little different, instead of just, well, it's easy to set the tripod up here, I'll take this image. So time is something that you want to keep in mind if you really want to walk away with successful photos. Make sure you give yourself time to accommodate for traffic delays, to do the suggestions I have in my Finding Your Shot video, to really absorb the spot before you start breaking out your camera equipment instead of having to jump right into it. So time is one of the big ones. The next one is just a little bit of pre-planning, and this one's totally on me. I love to photograph Saguaro National Park East. I've done an earlier video on it. I've been through there many times, but I really should have done a little more planning about a new location, a different location within the park. I tend to default to the location I went to, and certainly this time because I was short on time and I knew that it wouldn't be very crowded and that I wouldn't need as much time to set my composition. But if I'd really been interested in something unique for my photography, I should have done more pre-planning, whether that be just look at the map and an app on the iPhone for how the sun's gonna set so I could come up with something, whether it just be coming up with a different, unique, creative idea. How do I frame a cactus in the picture? Is there a rock formation I wanna do? Is there something different and unusual I wanna do with the foreground? Where do I want the emphasis to be? I really should have put some more thought into it that way if I wanted to come away with something unique to what I've already photographed. So don't discount that. And that's true whether it's a place new to you. There's a lot you can learn online by looking at other people's pictures or guides or just the map and putting some apps to it to see how the sun's gonna go, and you can think about how things might look even if you haven't been there before. And if you've been there many a times like I have, there's still plenty of room to think about your planning and some unique shot to get so you're not walking away with the same images. So a little bit of pre-planning would have helped as well. Instead, I got there and I sort of defaulted to my same old spot. Love the spot. There's never anyone else there. It's fun. I think I get some good pictures from there, but it's my same old spot. Some pre-planning would have helped avoid that and get me something more unique for my portfolio than similar to some images I already have in it. But really, at the end of the day, even with time and pre-planning, don't get bogged down in it. Those are things you can do to help make sure you get portfolio worthy images, something that's a little unique. But at the end of the day, what I did again, same situation, definitely. I had a great time out there. I still got some good images. I had fun in Saguaro National Park. So don't let lack of time or pre-planning keep you from doing something. They're just tips that can help improve your photography, but by all means, it's almost all about the experience as well. And sometimes when it's just, hey, I got some extra time I didn't think I was gonna have, my camera bag's packed, grab it, go, take some pictures. Hopefully you'll walk away with something good. If nothing else, it's a chance to practice your photography skills. And finally, you're out there in the environment enjoying it. And that's all you could ask for. So, don't get too bogged down. Like I said, this video, even though it was a little hectic, I had a good time, well worth it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit that like button. It means a whole lot to me. And if you want to see future content from me, including more behind the scenes looks, gear review, tips on better landscape photography, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future content from me. And again, thank you for watching.